What if the thing keeping you from losing weight is not what you eat, not how much you eat, but how often you eat? Because eating one meal a day does something to your body that 3 meals a day never will, and most people have absolutely no idea. There is a biological shift that happens when you compress all your eating into a single window each day. Your hormones respond differently, your cells behave differently, and your body starts drawing on stored fat in a way that is simply not possible when you eat throughout the entire day. Most people who want to lose weight start by eating less at every meal, smaller portions, lighter dinners, skipping dessert, and for the first week or two, something shifts. Then it stops. The scale does not move. The belly stays exactly where it was, and they have no idea why. So they try eating more frequently instead, 5 or 6 small meals a day to keep the metabolism going. They track every calorie, time every snack, pack food in containers, stay disciplined for weeks on end. And still, nothing changes in the way they hoped and expected it would. Weeks become months. They have tried low carb. They have tried 16-hour fasting windows. They have tried cutting sugar and processed food. They are doing everything the internet says to do, and they feel like the only person it is not working for. That feeling is far more common than you think. And yet, nothing changed. Not because they were lazy, not because their metabolism is broken, but because the frequency of eating itself was sending signals to the body that made fat loss almost impossible. That one detail changes everything, and almost nobody ever explained it to them clearly. Take Marcus, 42 years old, works a desk job, has been carrying an extra 25 pounds around his midsection for about 3 years. He eats reasonably well, skips fast food most days, and goes for walks when he can. Consistent, doing his best, and completely stuck. Marcus did a 12-week calorie deficit. He measured his food, hit his targets almost every single day, and stayed patient through it. He also tried eating 4 times a day to keep his energy stable and prevent the hunger crashes that had always derailed him on previous attempts. After 3 months, Marcus had lost 4 pounds. His doctor said that was fine, but Marcus knew something was off. His energy felt flat in the afternoons, his belly had barely changed, and the hunger never really went away. Just a quiet, constant drag that wore him down every single day. But here is what almost nobody realizes. Every time you eat, your body releases insulin. Even a small snack triggers it. And as long as insulin is elevated, your body physically cannot access stored fat for fuel. It is locked away off limits no matter how much fat you are carrying. Insulin does not feel like a problem. You do not notice it rising or falling. It just does its job quietly in the background. And because eating 3 meals a day feels completely normal and healthy, most people never question whether the frequency itself is working against their fat loss goals. Every coffee with creamer triggers it. Every mid-morning snack triggers it. Every lunch, afternoon bite, and dinner triggers it. If you eat from 7 in the morning to 8 at night, your insulin is elevated for most of your waking hours, which means stored fat stays exactly where it is. And this is where it gets interesting. When you compress all your eating into one meal, your insulin drops to its lowest level for most of the day. And in that extended low insulin window, something your body has not been allowed to do in years starts happening quietly every single day. When insulin stays low for an extended stretch, your body shifts into a fat-burning metabolic state. Not because you are eating a keto diet, but because there is no incoming glucose to burn. So it turns to the next available fuel source, which is the fat your body has been storing. Your liver starts converting stored fat into molecules called ketones. These travel through the bloodstream and become fuel for your brain and muscles. It is the same system your body uses during an extended fast, and eating 1 meal a day triggers it naturally every single day without any extreme measures. Alongside fat burning, something else happens that most people do not expect. Your body releases more growth hormone during the fasted hours. This is the hormone that preserves lean muscle while fat is being burned. And it is the main reason people who eat 1 meal a day often lose fat without losing the muscle beneath it. These two things work together. Ketones from fat provide the energy your body needs to function. Growth hormone protects the muscle underneath. So instead of your body breaking down muscle for fuel, it reaches into fat stores instead. That combination is exactly why the results look different from anything you have tried before. But the timing matters just as much as the window itself. Eating 1 meal a day does not mean eating whatever you want in one sitting. It means giving your body a long, uninterrupted stretch of low insulin time every single day. And that stretch is where the real transformation quietly begins. Your body enters its most productive fat-burning state roughly 12 to 14 hours after your last meal. If you eat dinner at 7 in the evening and do not eat again until the following evening, you are spending most of your waking day inside that fat-burning zone without doing anything extra. During that fasted window, your cells also activate a process called autophagy. Your body begins identifying old damaged cells and breaking them down for energy and raw materials. It is a cellular maintenance process that only switches on when you have not eaten for an extended time. Most people never reach it. The moment you eat or drink anything with calories, the fat-burning window closes. Insulin rises, ketone production pauses, and autophagy stops. This is why the small snack at noon resets the clock entirely and delays the fat-burning window from opening again for hours, even if the snack felt completely harmless. Think of it like a phone charging cycle. Your phone charges most efficiently when you let the battery drain and then plug it in fully. If you top it off every 2 hours, it never goes through a deep cycle. Your body works exactly the same way with food and stored fat. Most people start the day by immediately breaking their overnight fast. Coffee with milk or sugar, a small breakfast because they heard it boosts the metabolism, maybe a protein shake before a workout. Every one of those things closes the fat-burning window before the day has even properly started. By midday, they have already eaten twice and snacked at least once. Insulin has spiked 3 or 4 times. The fat-burning window closed hours ago, then lunch arrives and the cycle resets again. The body never receives the extended low insulin stretch it needs to start pulling from fat stores at real scale. Stay with me here because this is the part most people miss. Even the healthy choices count. A green smoothie in the morning, a handful of almonds at 10, a banana before a workout. These are all real foods, but each one triggers insulin, and that is enough to interrupt the fat-burning process entirely. Evenings are where the overnight window gets cut short. A late dinner followed by a small dessert. Crackers and cheese while watching television. That pushes the last calorie intake to 10 or 11 at night, which means the overnight fasting window barely gets started before morning arrives and the cycle repeats again. And the worst part is, none of those choices feel like mistakes. A banana is not bad. A smoothie is not bad. Crackers before bed feel harmless. But the overall pattern of constant eating has a biological cost that almost nobody explains. And once you see it clearly, you cannot go back to ignoring it. Here is the reframe that changes everything. Eating 1 meal a day is not about willpower or deprivation. It is not a punishment for past choices. It is a biological signal. You are telling your body that food is not constantly arriving, and your body responds with a very different and more productive set of instructions. For years, Marcus's body had been receiving the signal that food was always incoming, so it never had any reason to tap into its fat reserves. The fat just sat there waiting to be used, while his body kept burning the glucose from whatever he had eaten most recently instead. The shift is straightforward. Move all your eating into one window in the evening. Pick a time that fits your life. Most people do well between 5 and 7. Eat a real satisfying meal. Then do not eat again until the same time tomorrow. That one change rewires the signal your body receives every day. This is not something Marcus failed to figure out on his own. He just never had this information. The same is true for most people. They were not eating wrong because they were undisciplined. They were eating the way they were told to eat, and the advice itself was the hidden problem all along. Eating 1 meal a day looks like this in practice. You wake up, drink water or black coffee, and go through your morning without eating. Midday passes, and hunger settles into something quiet and manageable. By late afternoon, you are ready to eat. Then you sit down to one full and satisfying meal. You skip breakfast and skip lunch. That sounds dramatic until you understand that hunger is not linear. It peaks in the morning, then drops around midday, then rises again in the evening. Most people find that by day 3 or 4, the morning hunger barely registers, and the afternoon is actually the easiest part. The first thing most people notice is mental clarity. When your brain runs on ketones instead of glucose, thinking sharpens noticeably. The afternoon fog disappears, then the hunger swings smooth out. Then, usually around the 2-week mark, the weight begins shifting in a direction that actually holds this time. You do not need to do this every single day to start seeing changes. Even 4 or 5 days a week gives your body enough extended low insulin time to begin the shift. At the 1-week mark, most people notice their clothes fitting differently before the number on the scale moves at all. Think about a river that flows into a reservoir. If the river runs constantly, the reservoir stays completely full. The water never drains, it just sits there. But if the river stops flowing for a while, the reservoir level begins to drop down naturally toward its baseline resting level. Your fat cells are the reservoir. The glucose from constant eating throughout the day is the river. When you stop the river for most of the day by eating only once, the reservoir starts to drain. That is exactly what is happening inside your body during those long, quiet, fasted hours between meals. Here's another way to think about it. Your body runs on two fuel types. Glucose is the easy fuel, always prioritized the moment it arrives. Stored fat is the backup generator. As long as glucose keeps flowing in throughout the day, the generator never switches on. One meal a day switches it on. Once you see it this way, you cannot unsee it. The most common objection is that eating one meal a day will slow your metabolism down, but the research shows the opposite. Metabolic rate stays stable or improves because growth hormone protects muscle during the fasted period rather than allowing it to break down. Here is where to start. Pick your eating window first. Most people do well with a meal between 5 and 7 in the evening. Start with 2 or 3 days a week if full daily OMAD feels like too big a jump. Drink water, black coffee, or plain tea during the fasted hours. That is the entire starting protocol. For your one meal, focus on real whole food, protein, healthy fats, and vegetables. Do not force yourself to eat a full day of calories in one sitting at first. Your appetite will calibrate naturally over the first week or two. The sign it is working is waking up feeling clear, not heavy or sluggish. Marcus tried 4 days a week for the first 3 weeks. The first sign it was working was that his afternoon stopped feeling sluggish. Then his pants started fitting differently. Over 2 months, he lost 11 pounds and kept every bit of it off. He did not change what he ate. He changed when. This is not a magic fix. It will not work if the one meal you eat is full of processed food and refined sugar. The meal still matters, but for most people who have been stuck despite doing the right things, meal frequency was the one variable they never thought to question until now. Before tomorrow morning, decide on your eating window. Pick a time in the evening that fits your actual schedule and your real life. Tell yourself you will try it for just 3 days. Not forever, just 3 days. See how your body responds. That is the only data point that matters for you specifically. Your body has not been failing you. It has been responding perfectly to the signals it was given. Change the signal and the response changes with it. You already know more now than you did 10 minutes ago, and sometimes that single shift in understanding is exactly what it takes to change everything.